Today we're installing an ATS Atomizer on an 05 Dodge. This is part number 602-920-2272, and this works for the 03 to 07 Dodge with a Cummins 5.9. This is a really cool module. ATS has done a lot of engineering on this. This is what's good about this module is the module itself, instead of just raising the fuel pressure across the board, the atomizer actually only raises the fuel pressure when the truck's under load, and this is kind of to solve a lot of the problems, the concerns that people have got with injector bodies cracking, tips cracking, leaking tips, overpressurization of the tips, overpressurization of the injectors in the common rail system for sure. So this is a really nice unit we're going to install today. When you unbox the unit, what you get is you actually get your atomizer module. All the wiring on it is self-contained. You'll receive your switch. This is actually adjustable from 0 to 100%. And then you'll get your knob and then a decal that'll actually go on the switch probe showing you where your position is of the switch. Now, this atomizer module, this is actually going to be about a 70 to 75 horsepower module, just depending on what truck that you're going to have. So, you know, it'll be 100 horsepower at the crank, about 70 to 75 horsepower at the rear wheels. It is what ATS is claiming. So we're going to install this today, and we're also going to do some dyno runs, and we're going to do some everyday driving and see what our differences in rail pressures are from normal driving to with the atomizer hooked up. So let's get started with our install. All right, our atomizer has got 3 different sets of connections on it. There'll be one connection here that's got a pink and a black wire going to it. Now these could be different in later models of this, so don't go by my wire colors, but 2-wire connection that's going to be for our switch. That's not going to be used right now. Our fuel pressure connector is going to be kind of more of a T looking connector. It's going to have an orange grommet in it. It's a 3-wire connector. And this is going to be piggyback, and then our map connector has got a blue grommet on it, and it's actually a 4-wire connector. Okay, so before we start our installation, what we need to do is we need to remove our negative battery cables off of both batteries. Then we can go ahead and start our installation. Okay, first connector we're going to work with is going to be the fuel pressure connector, and it's right here on the fuel rail, right beside the cascade valve. You just simply push the top tab down and unhook the fuel pressure sensor. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook our atomizer into this. So our fuel rail, our fuel pressure sensor, we need to go with the female plug and make sure there's 2 different clips on here. There's a ramp and there's a flat clip. You want your ramp to go towards the push lock on the OEM wiring harness. Push that in until it clicks. Then when you install this onto the fuel pressure sensor, again go with the clip towards the ramp and push till it clicks, like so. All right, now that takes care of our fuel pressure sensor. So that's one of our 2 connections, or one of our 3 connections. Now our second connection is going to be to our map sensor. Our map sensor is almost directly in front of the second fuel rail bolt here, and it's right in the middle of the intake manifold. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect it. All right, and then we're going to hook up our atomizer connections to this. Ramp side up, push it till it clicks. All right, and then the male side to the connector itself, and push in till it clicks. So that's all of the installation, all of the connections that we make on our engine for our atomizer box. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move back out and install our switch. To install our switch, first thing that we're going to do here is we're actually going to put our little ATS sticker that shows us our potentiometer position. All right, so first thing that we've got to do here is we've got to remove the nut holding the actual switch on, the switch to the bracket. And the bracket, the potentiometer mounts to the bracket, it's got a little stud there that keeps it from coming out of orientation. So just remove that nut. All right. Then you want to place your 0 and your 100% at the bottom of the switch there. Now we're going to do this because we're actually going to mount our switch underneath of the dash. More than likely is probably what we'll go with. So we're going to put our sticker on here. If you're going to be drilling a hole and running the knob for the potentiometer through the dash, then you'll want to actually put this sticker on your dash if you want to see your position of your switch. But that's not what we're going to do. That's not how we're going to mount our switch. So. All right, now we've got that on. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure our potentiometer is where it's supposed to be. Which it is. We're going to put our lock washer and our nut back on. Alright, now what we're going to be doing is installing our knob. Now your knob has got a couple of set screws on it. So what you want to do with your potentiometer first off is you want to actually turn it all the way to zero. What we're going to do is we're going to take our knob and we're going to line it up with 0. After we loosen up our set screw. All right, I got it at 0 right there. All right, so now you can see once we turn it all the way around, it'll be lined up at 100%. So that's really easy to do. And that's how we're going to actually mount our switch. Okay, we're going to actually mount that underneath of our dash. All right, so just tighten your set screw back up, and that way you don't lose track of where you're at in position on your potentiometer. We've got our atomizer hooked up to our map and our fuel pressure connector. We've got our negative battery cables back on. We're going to make our last connection now, and we're actually going to install our box. Okay, last connection you've got in the atomizer harness. You can see the 2 harnesses to the fuel pressure sensor and the map sensor. Then you've got your 3rd connection here, which is for your switch. Now, if you decide not to hook your switch up, that's okay. That just means that your atomizer module is going to run 100% all the time. It's going to be at 100%, makes no difference. So we're going to put our switch in because we're going to do a little bit of dyno testing with this. All right, switch is just kind of actually a miniature version of the fuel pressure switch. Make sure you hook the clip side towards the ramp side of the connection, and there we've got it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up on 50%. We're going to get started with some of our testing. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the truck loose. We're going to get some live data on it. Then we're going to put it on the dyno and see what we come up with. Now, as far as our switch mounting goes, your switch, you can run it inside the cab, do it however you want to. It's got quite a bit of extra line with it. Run it inside the cab, run it through the grommet, and mount it anywhere that you want to. We're going to leave ours outside underneath the hood while we're testing, because we're going to be making some more changes and whatnot with the module. So mounting the module, the atomizer box itself actually comes with an adhesive pad if you want to stick it to the fuse panel. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to curl everything up here nice and neat and zip tight, so we can get started with our testing.
Installed on our 05 Dodge. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of dyno testing and see what it puts out. What we're going to do first off is we're going to get a baseline number so you guys can see what our baseline is, and then we're going to do the atomizer on 100% wide open and see what kind of horsepower it produces. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So as a baseline, we made corrected. Truck made 305 horsepower and 624 foot-pounds of torque corrected, which is pretty common. This is a 325 motor on this truck with nothing done to it other than exhaust and a lift pump. So that's just about spot on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our atomizer up to 100%. We're going to rerun it and see what we got. All right, we got our atomizer up to 100% now, so we're going to run it and see where we get on the very highest setting of this. All right, go ahead, Lurch. So we were hoping to make about 75 horsepower. We made actually 77. So 382.9 and 795 on torque. So very big difference. We've been driving this truck, actually, we came back to our video here. We've actually been driving the truck all week. We could tell a lot of difference in throttle response. Our miles per gallon actually seemed like they came up probably by 1 or 2, but you know, more testing will actually tell the story. This is our run. This is our second run, and if I can get my first run in here. To compare. You can see a comparison of our two. This is our 305 horsepower run here, okay, in red. This is our 382, or showing 379 here, but our weather corrected factor is going to be 382. So, in conclusion, we made 77 horsepower more in horsepower. In torque, we made, let's see, in torque we made another 170 foot-pounds, so huge gain. We started out our baseline as 305 horsepower with 624 on torque, and we ended up at 382 with 795 on torque. So if you got any questions on this install or any other installs, please give us a call. Again, this is our ATS Atomizer installation on our 05 Dodge. We're very pleased with this product, and if you've got any questions, just let us know. Thank you.